Hello, everyone, and welcome to Session 2 of the Wrath and Glory game of Depths of Trollius. We are using the latest update to the Wrath and Glory rules as was recently put out by Cubicle 7. As such, there may be a few rules that are different from those that are used to the old Ulysses Spiel version. We're all relearning as we go, so expect us to look up a few things during play and to get some things wrong. Really, the only thing I have in the way of announcements is I just hope you are taking care of yourselves in the crazy world of today. But with that out of the way, let's just go ahead and have everyone go around and introduce themselves and their characters, starting with Brother Harad.
Hi, my name is George. I play Brother Harad, the primary Space Marine on the team. You can follow me at Strom12341 on Twitter. Um, and, yeah.
And you would be next there, Eric?
Yeah. Sorry.
You're fine.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Eric. I'm Eric Vulgaris everywhere, and I'm playing Sister Rosencrantz, a Sister of Battle.
Me next.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm Ben. I'm going to be playing Torvian Volksguard. He is a Imperial Guardsman medic who has apparently developed some kind of death wish because he decides to charge into the battle every time.
My name is William. I'm going to be playing Jokta, the Hive Ganger.
And I'm Kessa. I'll be playing the Imperial Stormtrooper, Corporal Gillian Schenk.
Very good. And I believe Mr. Schenk has the quote-unquote opening log for today.
I do indeed. Let's begin. Expedition log, Corporal Gillian Schenk. Mission time, T plus 4 hours. It's not going well. The transport is wrecked, and with it any hope of contacting Veronius. The hive seems deserted, but that cannot be further from the truth. Something terrible has happened here. Shortly after the crash, while exploring the ruins of a bunker complex, we stumbled upon a party of Eldar corsairs. We dispatched them quickly with little loss of our precious ammunition. The only notable casualty from this engagement was a canteen. We managed to scavenge some of the Xenos' food. Thankfully, no one has questioned my knowledge of such matters. Most surprisingly, the foul Xenos have incarcerated one of their own. Her name is Alara. She claims to be allied to our lord. Most curious. And now she is leading us further into the hive. I don't trust her. One wrong move, and I will end her. I don't trust this party. Something doesn't feel right. Space Marine is most peculiar. Why is he here? And the Sister of Battle, alone? And a ganger with modifications that are worth way more than he is. If this record is all that is left of us, know that we died in the service of the Emperor. Thought of the day. Blessed is the mind too small for doubt.
I like it. So we open up today's scene with you all more or less with your hands in front of your faces as you press through the dilapidated and ruined streets of Hive Borax, or Borax, sorry. And the snowfall seems to have gotten worse in your time below the surface underneath the diner. Before you know, it was already kind of somewhat blizzard conditions, but now you're almost in a near whiteout scenario. And as you all are more or less trying to push forward, at the front, or at least near the front, is your Eldar quote unquote companion. She seems to be a little bit more, shall we say, in tune with the elements. She doesn't actually like have that preventative hand in front of her face. She's just sort of taking it, as it were. But she, stops a few times to make sure, you don't lose sight of her in the blizzard. And you think probably about by the third or fourth time she does this, that it's probably a good thing that you trust her, because it's very easy for you to lose her if she so wished. That's how heavy the snowfall is, and it's not just snowfall coming from the sky, it is all the piled up snow and powder that is being whipped around by the fierce wind. And eventually, after walking what seems like hours, Alara stops and shouts over the wind, "I think we're here."
Where's the entrance?
And she points to her left, and you can just barely make out her pointing arm to the left. And you see the vague outline of a building that is only 3 stories tall. However, as you look at the building, there's something off about it. And by that, I mean, when you look at it, there seems to be signs that the building has power still. As in, there's lights coming out of windows. But nothing else here has power, so why would this building have that? And if you want to know more, I would say
Most
if you,
peculiar. But I think my eyes might be deceiving me here, but it looks like the place has lights.
That does seem to be the case. Let's get inside and investigate.
How would a place like this have power?
We won't know until we're in.
It's probably warmer in there. I vote we go in.
Just be on your guard.
Watch your corners. That's how they get you.
So Alara leads you to the front door, and your hearts maybe sink a little bit as you see, not really crashed, but definitely blocking the way is, I forget what the 40K term is, but it's basically a glorified ambulance that has been not parked in front of the door, but literally flipped onto its side and shoved up against the door. Like someone, like a great force or some terrible beast just took it and slapped it careening into the building.
I'm going to assume it was a lot of little things instead of one really big thing, because that just scares me.
Do
So is there another entrance? I have a can. Oh, no, I don't.
Can I roll investigate to see what the windows are made out of, just in case we can break in?
You certainly may. Yeah. Be an investigation. Very low difficulty.
This is you looking at the windows and stuff. Okay.
Ooh, is that a ruin? That is a ruin.
That is indeed a ruin.
Well, the good news is the difficulty was only a 2, but I believe I still get ruined because you rolled the 1.
You do indeed.
So I have good news and I have bad news. Which would you like first?
Bad news.
Bad news. Bad news is this seems to be made out of, if I remember my materials correctly, this is plasteel. So you're not breaking through that, short of shooting it with a bolter, which you do have. You could shoot it with a bolter. The good news is that the ambulance is not really like anchored in, like it's not like beneath rubble. If all of you got together and started pushing it, or maybe the brother Harad and Krantz working together, they might be able to push it. But your other option is, as I said, literally shooting out a window and going in that way.
Does anybody have a heat weapon?
No, I don't.
Nobody.
Oh, just my bolter. Perhaps I could blow a hole through the window.
I'm gonna check the inside of the Medicaid truck before we start trying to shove it around. Can I get into the back? Is it unlocked?
It is, and I need you to roll me something as you look. Let me quickly take a look. Let's have you roll a survival, please.
Survival roll.
3 successes.
Is this Torvian just trying to get into it?
This is for what's coming out of it.
This is me opening the door and going, oh! Ha!
Yeah. So you open up the back door, and we'll say you open up the bottom one first, because again, it's on its side. So you open up the bottom one first, and tumbling out of the ambulance back is a not dried up, but frozen corpse similar to the ones that you put down near the lander. The difference is this one's not moving. This one is frozen stiff. And the reason you rolled was to see if you kept your composure as this thing rolls out.
Do I keep my composure?
You do.
Do we hear the sounds of this rummaging over the wind and stuff? The rest of us?
I would say those of you with a passive perception of 3 or higher would.
I should have probably brought up my character sheet.
It does help.
That's awareness, right?
It's half of your awareness.
Yeah.
Just an idea. I could climb to the top of the roof.
You have a grapnel?
No, but our brother Harad here, he can throw me up. I have a
Remember,
graph
there's
shoot.
there's very, very, very harsh wind right now.
Yeah, that is true.
And Alara speaks up. I'm sorry, are you talking about literally throwing someone?
Yes.
Anyway, so I'm going to do an investigate inside the truck. Is that okay?
Yeah, go for it.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
Brother Harad will cut the head off the corpse.
Okay.
Just in case.
4 successes, more than
Huzzah.
sufficient. In fact, you could shift that 6 if you wanted to for a point of glory. But let's see. So when you go into the back of the ambulance and start rooting around, I would say that you actually find a Churrigan's kit, or however you actually say it.
Kyversion.
Yes, thank you. You find one of those, complete, pristine, unopened.
I will take that with me. I'll add it to my medikit.
They are separate. Just keep them separate. Don't combine.
Right.
The other thing that
Awesome.
you would find in the back of this ambulance is a pamphlet. And the pamphlet is almost like a recruitment poster you would see for the guard. You know, it has a playing the stereotype. It has a commissar, like, hey, join the Imperial Guard, or the Imperial Guard wants you. And of course it's a female commissar because that brings in more men apparently. But what I'm going with this is, as you're looking at this recruitment poster, what you see scribbled underneath at the very bottom in small text, but still legible, are the words, because I want to make sure I say this correctly. The words say, "We will cure what ails this planet."
We will cure what ails this planet.
Okay.
Heresy.
So I'm going to use a pair of scissors to cut out the female commissar and turn her into my pocket commissar.
Okay.
I'm just saying, that way I have a commissar present, so I can blame it on the commissar whenever stuff goes south.
All right.
And I'm also going to tell the rest of the crew, hey, this looks like heretical nonsense, so sister or brother or whoever would like to handle this, evidence of some sort.
I believe Sister Krantz would be the one to speak to.
Yeah, I absolutely take it and immediately crumple it up and crush it under my boot.
And you can all see Brother Harad testing the ambulance, like trying to shift it back and forth, see how heavy it is.
Yeah, why don't you roll me a strength check there, just a straight strength.
Perhaps we could work together on that.
I'm assuming that you're waiting until I'm out of the truck before you start trying to push it, right?
Yeah.
So actually, Brother Harad, I'll give you the option. With 4 successes, you could just move the ambulance on your own if you wanted to.
I'll move the ambulance enough so that it's still covering half the entrance, but
Okay.
it does unblock the other half.
How large is the entrance? Is it like a garage entrance or is it like a door?
It is literally just 2 sliding doors. So there's a pair of sliding doors, a small pocket, and then another pair of sliding doors.
Okay, so maybe if you just angle it instead of sliding it straight out, that way we can still get in, but it's covering half the entrance.
I think that's
Yeah.
what he said.
Okay.
All right.
I just wasn't envisioning correctly then. I'm sorry.
That's fine. I've been in a funk today where I haven't been explaining things a whole lot. So again, if there's something unclear, just let me know and I'll try to make it up. But when you move the ambulance there, Brother Harad, and you're able to see into the entrance proper, again, you see lights on. You see, perhaps startlingly.
Startlingly.
Thank you. I can't English today, apparently. What you see is a pristine lobby. No debris, no bodies, just a pristine front area you might find at any hospital or sanitarium across the entire Imperium. And that's odd. That should be setting off warning bells of some sort.
I look over to Sister Krantz and I say, something is going on here. What does your faith tell you about this place?
I'd give a good strategic investigation around the room. But really, okay, let me see what I roll. Investigation is not very good.
Is this just a glance around, or is
The
this you
answer
actually
is-
going in and looking?
This is him.
Oh no,
looking
I'm
for-
going in. I'm definitely going in. I'm marching in first. And so I think
Okay.
once you move, so like I think the scene, what it looks like here is Brother Harad. You like, sister, what does this look like? And that's literally that scene of me going first, where I like cock the bolter and like heresy as I walk into the place. You know, like like Sister Harad has no fear of this, and I'm mad now that like after seeing that piece of paper, I'm like, this something's not right here. As I go march inside of this sort of like gothic Bioshock looking lobby. You know?
Yeah,
Go
so-
covering your six then.
Real quick, as you all are walking inside, whoever's in the rear, Alara sort of asks, so you want me to stay out here, or because I could go back to the craft world?
I'm not even gonna say anything. I'm just gonna point inside.
She'll follow. She gets your meaning. But as you step into the Gothic architectured front atrium, if you will imagine, in the immediate front of the double sliding doors is a half-circled, almost looks like very dark wood. What is it? Maple? I think maple's the dark wood. Either way, it looks like a dark wood curved desk that
Mahogany.
there you go, mahogany. And beyond the desk itself is a bunch of offices. And to the left, there is essentially what is a large sort of seating area where patients would come in, check in, sit, wait to be called. And then to the right, it looks like it leads through to probably the wards themselves. And all of this is confirmed by signs that are lit on the ceiling that sort of have arrows pointing in different directions. But what really catches your attention is the servitor behind the front desk. And the servitor is just sort of sitting there, just staring straight ahead.
Can I do a awareness check really quick? I want to see if I can identify if I hear generators running and providing the power, or if it sounds like it's getting power from somewhere else.
Okay.
Because generators should be fairly obvious to hear when we're inside.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead and roll. See what you get.
No.
Another point of ruin. I'll take it. Which also, yeah, you guys should be at 1 point of glory by my count. All right. So, with 3 successes, for better or for worse, you don't hear any generators.
Brother Harad's gonna cut the head off the servitor.
Try talking to it first.
Yeah, I was going to talk to it first, if you don't mind.
Nope.
Just gonna.
Nope.
So you go to remind me, what are you using for your weapon here?
Power sword.
Power sword. Okay. So the blade of your power sword flickers to life as you slash it across the servitor's head, and the head sort of just crumples to the ground and kind of goes rolling across the floor. But the servitor still speaks from now the hole in its neck where it's got like the voice box sticking up. It's very gruesome. But this is 40K. That's par for the course. So the voice box says, "Hello, welcome to the sanatorium. How may I be of assistance?"
I think you missed Brother Harad.
No, I think he got him, just not quite as intended.
Alert! It seems I have been damaged.
Yeah. I'm waiting to see, does Harad like finish killing it, or
Well, does anyone have any questions for it?
So, how many
what-
patients are in the building?
There are approximately 5,672 patients,
It's a nice round approximate number.
which I think, Shank, you're doing some math in your head. The 3 stories that this place is
doesn't-
made out of does
doesn't
not
add
add up.
It really doesn't add up. I'm like, oh.
How many basement floors are there?
There are 20 basement floors.
There you go. I found where the rest of them are.
Well, assuming they're still in one piece.
I did not say how many pieces I found. I just said that's probably where the rest of them are.
How
What
many
are the
people are
different
still
floors?
alive here?
And there's a pause as the servitor whirs, and maybe a little bit of oil spurts out of its hole in its neck. But it comes back and says, unknown, sensors to sanitarium lower floors inoperable. Alert, I have been damaged.
Servitor,
are
what was
the
your last
sub-basements?
previous directive?
Previous directive was to welcome guests and see to isolation patients.
Is the basement the isolation wards?
Floors 20, 19, 18, all designated isolation labs for quarantine patients. Alert, I appear to have been damaged.
I guess I'll try a Medicaid check just to see if I can get it to stop saying that it's been damaged, because we kind of know it's been damaged.
I would say a tech use would probably be better here.
Yeah.
I can do that too. My tech's a 7.
I think you broke it.
Was the plan?
So with a 3,
Came out-
I have good news and bad news. Good news, you can get it to stop saying that it's broken. The bad news is the only way to do that is to literally like pull out the voice box and just put it somewhere else.
We need that right now.
I guess I'll leave it.
Servitor, what is the nature of the infection?
Infection, processing, and it continues to say processing and twitch its head every single, well, what remains of its head as it, continues to try and, get that data. And it says alert, cognitive function impaired, unable to render assistance. And at that, I'm going to spend Point of Ruin to make the servitor completely go limp and just sort of remain locked standing upright. And the servitor is now defunct.
Can I look around the desk, see if there's a cogitator?
Well, sure enough, there is. It is quickly dimming in power, though.
The servitor was the source of all power in the building.
I'm not going to say it was, but it might be connected.
Right. Can I jump over the desk and try and figure out what's going on? As in,
Sure.
I want more information on what the infection is. I
Let's
want
see.
more details and records, essentially.
Right. What's your tech use like?
My tech use is untrained at 3.
Would you
Go
like
ahead
for
and
me
roll
to
it
attempt to
anyway.
do that?
You can assist if you want.
Okay. So assist, I make a roll, and then he gets how many successes as dice, right?
I believe so, yes.
There's
We've looked this
actually
up 3
an
times and we
assist
keep
button.
missing it.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy!
Wow, that is another
Stop
point of
helping the
ruin.
GM.
Well, you get 4 more dice to roll, I think. Right?
That's
Well,
4 successes
So
for a tech
there's
check.
actually an assist button.
Where is the
at
assist button?
It's the button that's to the right of roll.
Oh.
So then that would roll an assist and just count your icons.
5.
look at that. It very nice. Okay. So with that many successes, what you are able to pull up are the following. The first is an entry log that basically details that the first patients of illness XY1, 2, long string of numbers, First patient 0 was approximately, according to this cogitator, about a year and a half ago. Then about a year and a half, maybe about. So we'll do it from patient 0. So patient 0 was a year and a half ago. About a week after patient 0, the infected started pouring into the hospital at an alarming rate, somewhere on the neighborhood of about 200 to 300 people a day. So the sanatorium filled up very quickly. Right about a week after that, what happened is the patient started to die. So they freed up room, they took him to the morgue, et cetera, et cetera. Week after that, the dead began to rise again. And this is where the log starts to get really weird. And by weird, I mean, as you're looking at the text on the cogitator screen, it begins to garble and almost like junk text begins to appear where the letters are. And the further you go down into this log, the more and more prevalent it is, until finally it is you cannot read it.
Yeah. Like a diegetic SCP entry.
Yes.
Gotcha.
But, Shank, since you are doing the screen, let me very quickly look up what I have to do for corruption, because I believe
it's
this
a
is
test.
I think there's a
Conviction,
button
right?
on your sheet, too.
Yep.
The conviction roll, right?
It's a
Is
conviction
that what
roll.
it is?
I believe it is, yeah.
It's a resist.
There's actually a resist corruption
Yep.
button as well,
Oh, well, it's probably that one then.
which I think is all.
I think
it's all
conviction,
based off
fear,
the same
and corruption
thing.
is
Should
I
be
think
the
you're right.
same. Yeah, go ahead and
Derived from
let's see how
willpower.
you do. I think a 5's enough, but I want to be extra sure because I think you could probably shift for a glory here.
You definitely. I know what it is. Well, it depends on what your corruption level is. Your difficulty number for resisting corruption is based on the amount of corruption you have.
Right, and I
if you're
think
level
everybody
0,
started
it's a
the
3.
same.
Okay. I didn't want to assume anything, so I just said it starts as a 3.
You're right. I see it now. Page 286.
It's
Yep.
actually on our character sheet where it's under the mental social traits. Corruption tells you what your current points are, your level, and the DN to resist corruption.
Yeah.
Good
It's
on the
right
sheet
there.
for handling that for me. Saves me time.
So
I could be shifted to glory.
Yeah, you can shift for glory.
Yeah, I'll shift to glory. It seems like the
Alright.
only sensible thing to do.
Is the cogitator like rumbling in his head or anything? Like, is it like making those weird voices like from Astartes?
Sort of. Yeah, that's a good example. The
Well, it's either that or you see something. You see something subliminal in the scrap code, and it goes. Ooh.
So let's flavor it
because
this
it's a
way.
TV show. It's like we hear the message, the subliminal message in the thing.
Mm-hmm. So everybody else, you hear some sort of blasphemous whisperings around Shank, but Shank, you see on the screen what is essentially a skull forming out of the code and beginning to coalesce so that everybody else can see it. What would you like to do about the cogitator?
Jump backwards and shoot it.
Jump backwards and shooting it. I love it. So you jump back. You have remind me your weapon?
It's a Hellgun.
Hellgun. Oh, yeah. That cogitator is no more. You fire it at the cogitator, turns into molten slag, and the servitor body, which was frozen upright, just sort of topples over from the force of the blast.
I'm going to sigh heavily and go, Emperor's balls.
And because I find it funny, the desk is now partially on fire.
Well, at least we're not cold anymore.
Oh, that was the other important detail. When you guys walked in past the second set of double doors, balmy 72 degrees Fahrenheit.
So I'm going to take this opportunity to swap out my cold weather gear, take off my flak vest, put the cold weather gear back on, and put the flak vest around it.
Okay.
I don't need the cold weather gear inside my power armor. I'll be okay.
Brother Rod's gonna look for elevators or some way down.
Yeah. So you look up at the helpful guiding signs that are on the ceiling, and you see pointing to the right, the same where the wards would be, or so you're guessing, There's elevators and stairs to the right. To the left is outpatient procedures and offices. And then, Brother Harad, you look at the sign, you look away, and you look back at the sign, and the sign says, "I'm watching you." But then you blink and you look at it again, and it's gone back to stairs and elevator to the right.
Brother Harad will stab.
Let's go to the
Servitor
offices first
Yeah.
for more information.
in passing. Brother Harad will stab the servitor on the ground.
He's already dead.
Can never be too careful in these situations.
So I vote we go to the offices first instead of heading down. See if we can get more information from any cogitators they've got in the offices.
Yeah.
Or paper
100% agree
reports.
with you, Ben. And I think, I think Sister Krantz would probably say something to that effect, saying,
We'll
in order
also
to
look
cut off the
for-
head of the snake, we must know what we're facing. Perhaps there'd be more information in the offices.
I
we should
concur.
look for keys or passes to get down into restricted areas.
Or
No
you know,
door
we
can
could
keep out
always,
the Emperor's light, as like I just go off and ready to just bash down any door.
or we could always split the party.
Oh, God. Would not recommend. All right, so with Krantz in the lead, you begin to follow the signs to the offices. And of course, at first, you know, the waiting room, seating area, you guys walk through it again, eerily quiet. No bodies, no debris, just a abandoned sort of room that you're walking through. And as you begin to get into the actual quote unquote offices portion, what you begin to realize is the office spaces here have been turned into miniature wards, as in they've cleared space and put in hospital beds, hasty enclosures, things of that nature. And I'm going to put you guys on this map.
I think our intention of going to the offices first is that we want to ultimately get to like the head office, I guess would be like the idea. So we're taking the path that's going to the main office where I guess we wouldn't know where it is in this place. If not, we could roll for it. But like the idea is that we're going through the bureaucratic administrative section, ultimately trying to get to the head office, right?
Right.
So
right.
I'm asking. I'm not telling. I'm asking like that, right? Like that's what we're doing, right?
yeah.
Okay.
So,
So-
these blue, or I'm assuming these blue walls here are windows, correct?
Yeah. So when you
Okay.
walk into the head office, what happens is as the doors open, it's another pair of sliding doors. The doors open, and as you step through, there's a misty spray from, again, I forget the 40K term, but basically the spray you down type thing where it's a clean room sort of thing.
Decontamination.
Disinfectant.
That's what it is, yes. Just a disinfectant spray as each of you steps through. And on the floor, right inside the entrance, is the symbol of the Hospitaller Order, known as the Silver Hand. Krantz, you would vaguely know that the Silver Hand is a somewhat minor order of the Sisters Hospitaller, but they are a valid sort of
Yeah.
Hospitaller order.
Totally. Isn't the Silver Hand big on Enoch? Isn't that no? Maybe I'm getting my facts mixed up for the place. Yeah.
Could be. I mean, honestly, I sort of made up the name a few weeks ago, so if it's an actual faction, good on me.
Yeah, it's Silver Guard or whatever. It's in the book for the sector that we're in.
Ah,
That's fine. Oh, good job.
by the way, so you see that symbol on the floor, and
Exposit that to the group.
there you go. So you see that symbol on the floor, and then as you're looking around, you see parts of cubicles. And by parts of cubicles, I mean you're seeing a wall here, a wall there, and that's where I'm going to begin pointing out things on this map. So when you see a blue wall, that is hastily prepared plasteel glass, or the equivalent thereof. The yellow that you see are cubicle doors. So they don't go completely isolating the hastily thrown in tables and med bays, but they do provide a partition. The other thing that you're noticing is that there are a number of servitors here. They're just going about their tasks. You know, a few are, you know, kind of whirring and adjusting equipment. A few are otherwise sort of observing patients. But really, what strikes your attention is that in a few of these rooms, especially down here to the south on one of the beds, uh, in this isolation unit down here to the left, and the one directly to, well, I guess to Sister Kranz's left, would be another. And what you're seeing are more of those quote unquote frozen corpses that came to life during the crash. Now, of course, you might be wondering, well, how is this a head office? Well, normally where the main desk would be in this sort of center area, the desk has been ripped up and pushed against one of the walls. And in its place are eight bio beds that are currently unoccupied. Again, lights are on. Balmy 72 degrees. Outside, you see the blizzard raging. Take it from there.
I have a look at what the servitors are equipped with. Are they combat servitors or medical servitors?
That's a good point. Why don't you roll me a scholar?
Hmm.
One success is sufficient enough. What you see is that it's almost like someone took a combat servitor and replaced one of its arms with a medical one. So it still has the big old servo claw, but it also has what is essentially a bunch of needles and a bunch of other medical equipment on almost like a Borg like arm, if you can imagine Star Trek for a moment.
Yeah. Okay.
There is something wrong here.
Okay, before we go any further, comrades, the computer was tainted. I don't trust any of these things.
Yes, I have no doubt as I train my gun on the closest servitor.
Brother Harad will search the room. He's not going to approach these servitors cautiously, but if any of them come near him, he's going to do his best just to take them down.
Okay.
I'll be targeting this servitor over in this direction. For if it does anything funky, I'm just gonna blast it.
All right.
Where did you say the desks normally were moved to?
So the main desks, one has remained where it might have been. That's what this is over here. As far as the actual main head honcho desk, it is actually down here, pressed up against one of the walls in what is essentially a hastily constructed isolation unit.
Brother Harad will make his way over there.
Okay.
Doctor is going to go investigate this side, just looking through the window, I guess.
Okay.
I'm moving right over there and just keeping my weapon trained on this guy. As soon as it makes any kind of funky moves, I'm literally just gonna blast it to pieces.
Okay.
Similarly with the other servitor here.
Okay. I think that just leaves Shank and your ranger buddy.
I am gonna move up to this bed and take point just in case we need to fall back.
Okay. And quick point of order, did you ever give the ranger her weapons back?
No.
I don't think so.
I'll leave that up to a group vote. Did we? Did we not?
We did not.
Who's carrying them? Or did we leave them?
I think someone's carrying them. I remember last week someone mentioning them carrying them.
I think her brother Harad was carrying them because carrying stuff is not a big deal for him.
So Alara just sort of says, I'm gonna sit out here. You guys have fun with whatever's going on here.
You might want to stay in here just in case there's more of them out there.
Fair point. I will be right here next to the door.
Not a problem.
Keep a watch. Make behind us.
If you're gonna stab us in the back, let us know.
I mean, if you want, Monkai are just no, gotta work with them. Gotta work with them. And she just sort of mumbles to herself as she, turns around, probably trusting you guys a little too much that you're not going to shoot her in the back, but she is dutifully making sure that nothing is coming in your direction, kind of a thing, from outside. But as you guys move closer to the servitors, We're gonna go to Jokta. So Jokta, tell me, how close are you getting to that window where the occupant there to the right is?
He gets right up to it. Like, I'm assuming, is it a clear window or is it like a foggy window that's kind of hard to see through?
It's frosted, so you can just barely make out the shapes inside, like nothing purely, like you wouldn't be able to see like pure glass, like transparent glass. Um, but what happens is as you step up to the glass or the plasteel, whatever it actually is, um, the figure inside literally leaps at the glass and sort of in almost an alien style fashion sort of mashes his face up against the glass, and you see it in full definition because it's close to you, but just sort of smashes up against it and begins just making scratching noises as it claws at the glass.
Release me.
Oh yeah, from Independence Day.
Yup.
It's a lively one over here.
Not sure if lively is the term I would use. Active, yes.
He takes like his sword out and he just sort of like taps it against the glass.
It doubles its efforts. Instead of scratching, it is now pounding on the glass.
Is the glass reverberating or shaking? Or is it
It is
holding
doing
solid?
both.
Well,
So is this
Jokta-
like the same type of window that we saw outside? In other words, like basically have to shoot it with a bolter round to shatter it, or is this like thinner?
This is thinner.
Okay.
I would say roll me an intelligence. See if let's see if you would figure this out. Apparently tonight I'm getting ruin is what I'm getting out of this. So what you realize, probably a little too late, is that the glass, if he keeps pounding or it keeps pounding on it like this, it's gonna break very quickly.
I think
He'll,
you cap at 6 because you start off at your max for ruin.
You're right. So let me just get rid of those extra.
And you start
points.
using it again.
Yeah,
so-
I gotta start using it.
He's used one so far.
yeah.
Jokta will take a single step back just to see if it like stops being so aggressive.
Nope, continues pounding on it with both fists.
We'll leave that one to you, Jokta, since you had to antagonize it.
Clean jokes. Clean jokes. Sorry.
And unless anyone stops the servitor, the closest servitor sort of whirs on the spot and goes, "Patient in distress, moving to pacify." And the servitor begins moving towards the door. Does anyone stop it?
Well,
I
what's this
draw my
part?
weapon, but I don't shoot it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm follow. Yeah, that was the one I've been trained on. Yeah, I would probably be like, as soon as it begins to move, I'd be like, "You are not moving anywhere. Like, you're staying where you are." Ordering it. Obviously, it's not gonna listen to me.
Right, yeah, it's a
which-
single-minded servitor.
Yeah, right. Of course, like it's not gonna listen to me. But I have to say it, and then I'm gonna shoot him.
Okay, yeah, go
Absolutely.
ahead and give it a shot.
Multiple shots. Rapid fire.
Ah, okay.
Oh, jeez.
Hi,
3 and a
Ruin.
wrap. Okay, ruin.
Wow.
I probably hit the
Hi,
glass,
Ruin.
right, and make it worse, right?
Ooh, that's a complication.
That is a complication.
what
go ahead and
Right?
roll me
Isn't
your
it
combat
like the glass breaks
complication.
and there's like more or something? Like that's what I think in the horror movie. Like that's obviously what happens, right?
Oh, don't
The
worry.
servitor gets cut down and explodes into an army of spider servitor.
Oh god.
Wait, what did I have?
Onyx
minus
Diablo.
2. Oh
We've
my
now
god!
entered
hold
the
on. I did,
thing.
for what it's worth, I did roll better than that. I still had the low light vision modifier to me.
Okay.
I'll just roll 2 extra dice.
Okay.
That's my bad. I had the low light vision from last session still as a modifier.
No, I should have been more clear.
Not at all. 2 dice. Roll.
Looks like a 3 and a 6. So you actually have 5 successes. You could shift that 6 for a point of glory.
I will definitely do that for a point of glory.
Excellent. And then, because you have rolled a combat complication, there should be a macro, which hopefully is visible to everybody. It should be combat complication. If you could go ahead and push that button once for me.
Where is it at?
If you go under macros, there should be a combat complication macro. I just throw it in the bar and push the button.
Ah.
I did click it, but I think I was trying to grab glory as well, and now it's freaked out.
I'm keeping track of the glory. You don't have to worry about it.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna have to refresh anyways because it's emit. Yeah, 1 second. Can someone roll it for me? I will designate. You know what, Ben? I trust you.
What am I rolling?
You're doing
You
the
roll-
combat complication
yeah.
macro.
No, I'm trying to find the
Yeah,
macros.
Sorry, it's under the collections next to the gear on the top right.
Oh, okay. Collections.
Bing.
It looks like a bulleted list.
You can also
There it is.
type it in chat.
Roll.
Interesting.
God.
Oh
So,
boy.
Yeah, do not trust me ever to make rolls for you. I should have made that clear before when I was saying that Renji hates me. My average on a d20 is a 1.2.
So, Krantz, you go to fire, and you do hit it once, but when you go to pull the trigger a second time, you just hear a thunk. Thunk, 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 thunk. Thunk.
Toss it over here. I can take care of that for you.
Oh my God. I'm glad I'm fearless. I'd make a conviction test. How could my gun break and fail me at my time of need?
It could just be a jam.
Could just be a jam. But you did actually hit the servitor, so go ahead and roll me
No,
some
no.
damage.
Yeah. I feel like I would know what a difference between a jam.
All right,
it's
let's
just straight 10.
see. So, it is no armor pen. Okay. All right, believe it or not, your bolt gun does take a hefty chunk of the servitor's torso, but it remains standing. I mean, it is a pile of scrap, more or less. Like, you could probably breathe on it, and it would fall over. But the servitor is still standing. And the moment the servitor takes the hit, the other servitors in the room begin to whir and turn to the rest of the party. And we're actually going to go into initiative order.
I have a prepared shot. I was waiting for that dude to start making nonsense. Just throwing
Right?
that up there.
We will.
This is the Age of Ultron moment when their eyes go red.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So let's ask this, because we did do it one way last time, and I wanted to see if you guys wanted to handle it this time. We can either roll combat initiative, or we can do that. You guys get to pick who goes when. It's whatever you guys would prefer.
I prefer the picking, or like,
My vote would be for option as well instead of roll.
Okay.
Yeah. This way you can keep the action on the worst thing that's happening. It gives you a little bit of control, being like, I don't know. I have no problem sometimes being like, Brother Harad, what do you do?
Mhm.
Kind of thing. In some situations, it's sort of like a compromise. If we want to like force something, like, or like spend a wrath to kind of like make a player go, that might be a fun way to do it.
Yeah,
I'm just
I like it.
spitballing.
No, these are all good ideas. So yeah, let's handle the prepared shot on the servitor first, over here to the left, and then
This
we will
one
go
right
into
there.
proper initiative.
All right. Combat shotgun. It sits within short range. So I get the bonus attack die. And then it's also rapid fire, so I get a second bonus attack die, correct?
Sounds right.
There you go, and you get a crit.
Nice.
I got a
Nice.
crit. And how many of those can I push?
That's what I'm counting. 1, 2. You can push 4 of those.
Okay, I'm going to push 1 for glory, and then I'm going to push the other 3 for damage.
Okay. Now, also underneath the underneath the macros, there should be a critical hit button.
Oh, never mind. No. That's wrong. That's wrong because I have a 2 modifier. I accidentally did 2 modifier instead of the 2 attack dice. So that's why it's
so
so
those
high.
are all 4s. Okay. All right, so that is still 5 successes then, which is still enough. You can't
Well,
shift.
I don't
of
know if
course.
I don't know if those would have been 4s, 5s, or 6s, because 6 is the highest it goes.
This is also true.
Want me to just re-roll it?
Just re-roll it. Just
Yeah,
re-roll the whole
just
thing.
re-roll
I'm
it.
cool with
Yeah.
re-rolling you.
Okay.
Hey, you still get a crit. Apparently,
Yeah,
the
there you
Emperor has
go.
favored you this day.
Okay. And I can push that one, right?
Yep, you can push it for glory, or you could push it for extra effects on your critical.
Um,
And you can roll your critical before you decide whether to push it to the critical or not.
okay. I'm gonna go ahead and roll the crit.
Okay.
Da-da-da-da.
Unspeakable carnage, a truly grievous strike. The attack is a terrifying display
I
of
don't
martial
think I'm gonna
arts.
need to worry about the severity increase, so we get some extra glory.
Yeah.
1d3 plus 3 mortal wounds on top of the damage I'm going to end up rolling. So
What
Wow.
I would tell you that even if you rolled minimum mortal wounds, that is enough that as your combat shotgun barks and sends deadly slugs through the air, the servitor turns into Swiss cheese as oil and blood mixed together spill across the floor and splatter against the wall behind it. The servitor is donezo.
I'm still number 1.
Sell that you to your canteen.
So, who would like to do initiative stuff?
I missed my canteen.
Doctor, maybe you could like stop that servitor.
Sure. So Jacta, so does this thing actually start turning towards us now?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm going to spend some ruin to make it go first.
Uh-oh.
Because I can do that. I think it's just the one ruin, yeah?
Yeah.
You don't have to spend any ruin to make it go first. It would be your turn.
No, that.
No, heroes go first. In the initiative, he's stealing the initiative.
Yeah, that was the prepared action to shoot the servitor.
Well, what was my action?
Your action
It
was
was out of
at the
combat.
same time as
It was
his.
out of combat. Okay, it was technically like
Yes.
out
It
of
was
initiative.
it was a
I'm
narrative
sorry.
declaration
Okay.
is what you were doing.
Sorry, that makes perfect sense. That's why I was like, wait, I thought we were okay.
No,
We're good.
that again, we're all getting
I have a
used
small
to
brain.
it,
We're
so
good.
we're doing fine.
That makes sense. Okay.
But Kron, since you did shoot it, I think it's gonna shamble over, fidgeting and just almost janky, just sort of, twitching and lurching towards you. It's gonna raise its servitor with a shaking arm, or its servo arm, and is gonna come slamming down onto you. So let's see what it rolls. Here's its attack. Oh dear. Well, does a 4 hit you?
It does.
Okay, so there is going to be a combat complication. I'll roll that after damage.
My defense it's saying my defense is 1, but that seems very low. It seems
What's your
low.
What's your initiative?
Oh my I did end up rolling my initiative.
Well,
And
no.
maybe
What's
that's
your
why.
actual
your
initiative
stat.
stat?
My initiative is 2.
So that's correct, then, because your defense is your initiative -1.
Okay.
Why is you're melee focused, right? Why is your
No.
initiative so low?
No, she's a bolter.
Oh.
Bolter
I have a
nun.
bolter.
Sorry,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Sister Kratz.
I know, I was
Sorry,
going back and
sorry.
forth on it. You're good.
So here's a question: as the servitor attacks her, is it screaming, "You are experiencing bodily damage. Do not panic"?
No,
Yeah,
it says
AP
something worse. It says something in a language I'm not even going to try to replicate. But if I had to qualify it,
Fine.
remember how Shank you saw the mutated text on the cogitator screen? Imagine that in verbal form being regurgitated at Sister Kranz. That's what's happening right now. But Kranz, you're going to take 9 damage, and it's going to ignore 3 points of armor.
Oof.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to soak that.
Actually, because it's brutal, that is 10 damage.
Ugh.
Cool. I go down to 0. I
Hold
mean,
on.
I have to soak it, right? That's the first thing I have to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to spend a wrath to soak right now, do I?
No, I believe you can just
can-
opt to soak.
Yeah, you can spend a wrath to reroll it.
Ah, that's what
And-
it is. Thank you.
And you don't actually have to Because they used to be where you had to lose a shock in order to soak. You don't have to do
Yeah.
that anymore.
Oh, okay. It's not recover shock. Where am I rolling? It's not. Sorry.
It's not called
attributes?
soak. It's It's
Determination.
in combat. I think.
Determination.
Yeah.
Determination.
It's a determination check. That's what it's called now.
Oh, gotcha.
It should be on
I see
the
it.
main page.
And I only rolled a 2.
Which
Okay.
means you are able to soak 2 of those. The rest would go to your wounds.
So it was 10, and I don't use. And,
So
okay,
how
my
far into the
base armor
negatives
is
do you
5.
go?
Yeah, my base armor is 5.
Mhm.
Reducing it by 3 brings it to 2, which means my total resilience ends up being 6,
Mhm.
right? Total, and you did 10 damage to me.
Mhm.
I soak 2, which means 8.
Soak
Which means
2.
8. Yeah, so I'm still doing 8. So I'm minus 2.
No, your resilience is still kicks in. So you take 10. Your resilience of effective 6 brings it to
Oh,
4
it's
damage
4.
you're taking, and you've soaked 2 of that 4 damage.
So you would have 4 wounds
Oh
remaining.
my god,
That's where this goes to.
again, I don't know what's going. My brain, yeah,
Should
you're
be
absolutely, yeah.
2 shock, 2 wounds that
Yes.
you've taken.
So 4's a piece.
I can
Yeah.
fix that.
So
it's everything.
the remind me, does Kronz wear a helmet or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
All
No,
right,
I'm
so
kidding. No, I'm a protagonist. So yeah, I'm not gonna weasel out of it. You're
yeah,
right.
because
No
I was
main
gonna
character
say if
wears
you
a
had the
helmet.
helmet, the servo arm was literally gonna clang the side of your helmet so hard that you maybe get a light concussion. But I'm gonna say instead it comes down on your clavicle, your left clavicle, and you have to actually go to one knee, even in your
Yeah.
power armor, to take the blow.
Totally.
And now it is the player's turn.
And that complication.
Oh, right, the complication. Thank you.
Ooh, it's server arm ran out of ammo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
that doesn't apply. So you re-roll it.
yeah, I was gonna say I'm just gonna re-roll that.
Sorry, it looks like the gears in its shoulder locked up and it can't use that arm anymore.
I'll roll one more time. If I roll out of ammo again, that's what happens.
It dropped its arm.
Drop its
Yeah, its arm falls
It
off.
just,
It has to
it just
pick up
says
its own
drop
arm.
an item from its inventory, not that it
it-
drops it. It has to be the arm or the weapon.
It hit so hard that its arm shook loose and fell off from the reverb.
I think
I
that's
actually-
what's gonna happen. Is it hits you so hard is that its arm just tears off in the process and just clunks to the ground.
Yeah.
So if it's alive next turn, it's got to pick it up and start beating you with its arm.
I would love to go this moment if that's okay.
Go for it.
Yep,
I would
that's awesome.
love to retaliate with its arm and do this to it before it has a chance. Because I just rolled terribly. My bolter's broken. Come on, I want to be cool. So I'm gonna use this moment to grab that bolter arm and just basically backhand it with its own arm.
I love it.
It's brutal arm, not bolter arm. Excuse me. And the modifier to my weapon skill, or can I just go ahead and roll it?
Go ahead and roll it straight. I feel like there's probably a negative for an improvised weapon, but
I mean, I'll spend a wrath to do it. Like, like literally, this is wrathful. like literally, like to retaliate as hard as I could.
keep your wrath. Keep your wrath.
Okay. So I think I'm just gonna roll my base weapon skill then.
Yep.
There we go. Yeah.
You can actually shift 2 of those for
I'll shift one for glory. But I mean the other one for damage. It had like 1 health or whatever. It's dead anyways, right?
Yeah, it's dead.
Damage. I don't know what the damage of its own brutal arm is, and I don't feel like calculating it. Yeah.
I'll roll
dead,
for
right?
giggles. So that is that is a grand total of 12 damage because of brutal. So, Kratz, you scoop the arm up, maybe even as it's falling, and then you come across it with just this massive swing, and the servo arm slams into what remains of the servitor's head, and you do it with such force and such grace that the servitor does not fly over here where it initially was going to go. It instead flies over into this glass panel, shatters through it, and falls over the sort of jagged edge of the glass. So it's sort of like on its back, almost impaled, and it's just Swiss cheese just stuck there dead.
Yeah, I'm just like panting, after like just doing that and receiving that blow as I like just throw the brutal arm thing to the ground to the side.
Brother Rod is gonna say, "Fury is your shield."
Amen.
And Torvian's got to say, keep that commissar hand strong.
Right.
So, do you guys want to spend anything to keep the initiative? If not, it will be the enemy's turn.
How much glory do we have left?
We have
You
a
have
ton of
5.
glory. We're 1 below minimum, but at the same
Max,
time,
max,
there
yeah.
doesn't appear to be good targets to choose from, so we could probably use
I don't think
it
there's
in the-
anything that's currently pressing that we need to intercept. So
I'll-
I would
I'll
say
only
let it go.
I'll only jump in if I. Is it possible I could shoot through the glass, or is that?
You could, it
No.
would just shatter the glass.
Then I will ask if I can jump in.
Go for it.
Yeah, spend a glory to do it, right?
We got
Yep.
extra glory.
Can I take a shot at the servitor in the bottom left corner?
Yeah, I would say it would have some additional armor because you are shooting through the glass, but you would be able to hit it.
What weapon are you using?
What, like minus
Oh.
2 or something?
Yeah, something like a -2 armor.
Yeah.
It's like cover or whatever.
Yeah, there's quick rules for cover.
What would the difficulty be, just out of interest?
I mean, it would still be the same roll. It would just have more armor if you hit it and did damage.
Yeah. I'm just thinking if I could take a headshot, because it sounds difficult. I was wondering what the difficulty was.
Well, for sake of clarity, I will say that servitor defense very low, only a 1.
Then I'll try for a headshot.
Okay.
Don't forget to aim. Right?
Can
Or
aim.
is a cold shot a bonus action? Can you
Cold
aim
shot
and then
is a
cold
free
shot?
action.
Yeah.
Aim is movement, so you can aim and do a cold shot.
Mhm.
As long as you don't move, right? You said you took points, so like, why would you move, right? Sounds like you're in a good spot.
I'm in a good spot. And I can brace against my cover, so that seems fair enough.
Yeah.
And I'm within 7 meters, which is short range.
Mm-hmm.
So how many bonus dice is that?
Well,
short range
you
is-
get 1 for aiming.
And 1 for being in short range.
Mm-hmm. So that's 2
Okay.
bonus die, and then your difficulty, if you're going for a headshot, makes it a 6. Because isn't head 5?
I think so.
Yeah. So the headshot would be a difficulty of 6.
We'll see what happens. Let's roll.
Oh,
Only
Nope.
a 3. So
you-
unfortunately,
Only 3.
spend a wrath to reroll.
yeah, I would
Reroll.
say I would spend wrath to reroll that.
All right. Okay.
There you
Wow,
go.
yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
So, as you fire with your hotshot lasgun, you bore a neat little hole through the glass and impact the servitor in the head. So go ahead and roll me damage and add 3 to whatever you roll.
3 dice. Oh, 3 dice or just a 3?
3 ED, so actually extra damage dice.
Okay.
Which I think if you set the bonus to 3, it should automatically calculate that for you.
There's an extra dice section.
Yeah, I've seen.
DBD.
There you go.
Well, 11 damage in armor pen of 2 means that servitor, you blow off its head far more cleanly somehow than what Brother Harad did earlier with the servitor at the entrance. Somehow you have completely evaporated the servitor's head, and it falls almost on the spot. But at this point, with all my servitors dead, the only enemy actor I have is the one behind the glass. So let me pull up his character sheet real quick.
Not really behind the glass, anyways. The servitor went through the glass, so it. Just
Well, he went through the isolation ward to the left, or sorry, to the right of his ward.
Oh, that's not one phase. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So let's see. What is his strength? It's not actually half bad. Let's see what he rolls. Survey says, oh dear. Oh dear.
Out of glory, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that glory is, the frozen, for lack of a better word for them, pounds so hard on the glass that it goes thunk and shatters. And as Jokta and Krantz, as you guys maybe turn to deal with this, I'm going to say with that glory, it is actually able to leap through the glass as it shatters and jump at Jacta. So, Jacta, what is your defense?
2.
All right.
I think, yes, 2.
Is this thing charging?
All right. Give me one
Jacta?
sec. Got a jet overhead.
I don't think I had enough room to charge.
It doesn't. You need at least 4 squares.
Ah, it's not 10 feet. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But
All
it's
right.
D&D.
Does it
Sorry,
fumble
you're right.
through the glass?
My brain in the
I
squares.
remember 3-5 too.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's melee. It's doing a melee thing, right?
Yes, it's doing a melee.
Then my defense is actually 3.
Your defense is 3. Alrighty. So let's see. Its attack is not amazing, but let's see what happens. I believe a 4 hits you.
Does
It
indeed.
does.
All right. So, gonna go ahead and roll some damage here. How do you feel about 7 damage?
What happens if it meets?
I believe
1 shock damage.
Yeah, you take 1 shock.
Okay, then I am shocked at that amount of damage.
All right. Well, it is the player's turn. So, Jacta, if you want to just shoot or get rid of this thing.
Yeah, he's gonna respond in kind as he's basically holding up one arm to try and fight this thing off, and he's gonna try and stab it
Okay.
with his other. Do. Can you still aim with melee in this?
I think you still
Or is it
can,
not a
yeah.
thing?
Yeah, I think it's like you're aiming a blade for a jugular or something like that.
Yeah, so he is going to aim and
You aiming for the head?
I think he's just aiming for center mass.
No,
Okay.
I think aim only works for ranged in this edition. Because it ignores firing into melee.
Okay.
And,
Let's
I think the rules specifically say when you're on a ranged attack. I'll check though.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's look that up. And then real quick, okay, you're using your sword, so that is correct. Aiming.
I think he's right because at least on my cheat sheet it says +1 dice ranged or ignore firing into melee.
Right. Because I know in the old edition you could aim in melee.
Yeah,
So
so that just may be something that they've changed. I think it's because they. Well, no, because I think all out attack was always just a melee specific thing.
All right, so the wording is odd, and I'll read it out so that we're all on the same page. The aim option allows you to use your movement to focus on aiming a weapon. Doesn't say ranged weapon, doesn't say melee weapon, just says a weapon. But then the following sentence says, if you aim, you cannot make a movement, but gain a +1 bonus die to ranged attack tests you make this turn. And then, yes, you can ignore penalty for firing at a target engaged.
So that sounds like it would only apply to a ranged attack you're making.
Yeah, that would be my interpretation of that.
But you can still do the called shot on it, right? Or do you have to aim in order to do a called shot?
No, you can just straight up called shot if you want.
Yeah, it's a free action to call shot.
Either way, I would say you do hit it. You could shift for a point of glory.
I will. How much glory are we at?
You're
Yeah,
at
4
4.
or 6.
Sure, shift for glory. And then the damage
It's
is
resilience.
9.
Yep. So you stab at center mass with your sword. Your sword pierces through the other side of it, bringing with it the creature's spine. And without a spinal cord, the creature goes down hard. So you're no longer in initiative order. However, I'm going to be spending a little bit of ruin here. Because it is at this point, as you all are taking in what just happened, that your good Eldar buddy says, whatever you did, there's about 20 servitors headed in this direction.
I don't like the sound of that.
Well, if we're not in the specific combat order, I'm going to
So
pump
close
myself
the
over
door.
to Krantz. Or, yes, Sister Krantz. Let me see your weapon real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Brother-
don't help me
brother-
help the weapon. So
I'm gonna
swing
run over to
my
the door
bulk gun.
and try and close it.
Brother
Okay.
Harad's gonna pick up the desk over here and put it in front of the door.
All right, are you moving just
No,
the
I'm just
desk?
kidding. You just push it over.
Well, yeah, I'll have a desk in one arm and one of these in the other arm.
Okay.
And just start
So we'll
putting
say,
stuff.
for sake of argument here, we'll just draw boxes on the map because we're high tech. We'll say that if the entrance is this blue square, we'll say that your hospital beds are maybe here and here, and then the actual desk will be here, and then maybe you have like a stacking thing where you've got another pair of medical beds that's here. You know, you basically throw whatever you can in front of the door.
Yeah, it's just a barricade,
And
right?
for some reason, the
Of
PA
of the
starts
things here.
going do 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 do.
Tetris.
I am getting Left 4 Dead vibes for sure.
right,
like the like I don't know, just marching instead of the howls, but yeah.
Tech check to see if I can fix his gun.
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
DS4.
You do indeed.
What do you do?
You
What do you
can
do to
shift.
what do you do to fix my gun?
Technical tap.
Percussive maintenance. It is a holy right.
It is.
He says, "Sister,
Work,
please
damn
lead
you!"
the way."
I mean, clearing the actions absolutely like solves every single, not every single one, but most 9 out of 10 jams. So that makes sense to me. Okay.
I think there's a bad guy still at the bottom left.
I gave you that respective action movie nod of respect. I mean, and then yeah, I think it's like Jocto or Shank, right? You're like, get there, take cover, stop. Yeah.
We do still have two guys in here.
Now they aren't moving. The tokens you are seeing are just bodies that are present.
Now, are they like strapped down, or are they just?
They are
Oh.
strapped down, yes.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Well, here's the perfect example then. After Torvin gets my gun ready, I'm gonna move up and just unload into that one strap down right there.
Remember what happened last time? You tried to unleash.
I know, that's
Righteous
why I need to
Fury?
make sure it works. Because it's not me, it's the gun that broke. So this is the perfect test dummy from the gun.
Because
I'm
I
gonna do
find
this-
it funny, go ahead and roll anyways, because you could roll another complication.
Yeah.
And then we find out that the sister isn't so righteous.
I mean, you know what? I wouldn't be so righteous if my gun jams again. You know what? I deserve the heresy.
Okay, you're good. You got close. You're good.
Yeah. I got,
If it jams
That's
again, I'll
dicey.
trade you.
So yeah, you turn this strap down thing frozen into Swiss cheese. It is no
Yeah.
longer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just hear the loud dun, 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 as like the gun just goes off. You're like, appears to be working appears to be in order. As I get ready to get set up for the servitor march.
Mhm.
I'm going to move close to the bottom and finish off the last two.
Okay. Simple
So-
2 shots. Do roll them because, as you can tell by the
Yeah.
marching servitors coming in your direction, usable ranged weaponry is important. So do actually roll. Okay,
Oh.
so that is a combat complication. Let's roll that before you roll your second attack.
Just an 18% chance.
So is it roll or token?
Should do combat complication. Should be underneath the macros.
17,
I can
whatever,
see
my
it.
brain. God.
Okay.
So what do you got in the inventory there,
What is-
Shank?
You eject the pack.
What do I have in my inventory? I have mess kit, Imperial Guardsman's uplifting primer, ammunition, a knife.
I got it. You're gonna hate me for this. I'm spending 1 ruin because I find this funny. Your uplifting primer falls out of your front little pocket, and as you're shooting, it immolates the uplifting primer.
Shit, my toilet roll.
I saw that, guardsman. Pocket Commissar is very upset with you right now.
You have to start coming up with a voice for her too. She starts yelling at people.
Right.
Brother Rod's gonna turn around and say, "Private Volksguard, maybe if you can try and find a way out of here that isn't that door."
Okay, I'll start doing searches.
Do
Do
me
you
to
want the
fire
good
again?
news or the bad news?
There is no other way out of here.
Well, we'll get to that in a moment because Shank, you need to roll me another ranged attack there, buddy. Okay, you're good. You're good. All right. So, yeah. So good news, bad news. Good news. You feel real confident about that door. It's barricaded pretty well. Bad news is, unless you want to go out a window, there's no other rooms or ways out of this office.
Strangely enough, I'm fine with this.
So I would kill for a grenade. But this is fine.
Well, I
So
thought
you
I
said
had
there's about
one.
20 servitors outside?
More like 30 now.
Hold on a second. Did I not write this down? Don't tell me I didn't write this down.
Are the doors glass?
The double doors that lead into this place, yes.
Are there any windows that we can see out of alongside that are not part of the door? That, for instance,
No.
I
So
could-
you're almost having to look through like holes in the barricade or look over objects.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I would imagine the barricade's not super high, right? It's like maybe upper shoulder, kind of,
Upper shoulder's probably a good metric.
breast height, and just so you can just kind of still shoot fine and keep looking down. Do we hear it? So do you tell us there's no other way out?
He said that there's no way out except for unless we want to break a window.
Yeah,
However-
and I just realized I have this on the wrong layer. Might help if I did it on the right layer. The wall to the south, to the immediate south, it should be this green line. That is, oh, it's not drawing a line. Let me try again. Gotta love Roll20. All right, do you see that green line?
No.
No.
Okay, do you see it now?
Yes.
All right, so yes, that entire wall is glass, but you haven't really, well, I guess part of your check is you going up to the glass. So let's say, where is Torvian? So Torvian, you go up to the glass and inspecting, ways to, hold on, there we go. You go up to the glass and what you see is there is no good news this time. Remember how I said that the Frozen were coming at you before from the dropship crash?
Mm-hmm.
You're looking outside the window and almost like a Dawn of the Dead or a Left 4 Dead vibe, there's just a bunch of Frozen outside zombie-like fashion, sort of not clawing, but going and just slapping against the window. Now, the good news is this is a Bolter strength window. It's not like the one that the Frozen in here broke through. But there is a crowd of about 60, 70 Frozen outside.
Okay, well, I will also do a quick sweep for medical supplies since, it's proud tradition of the guardsmen to scavenge whatever we can get our hands on.
Okay.
Okay.
So while you're doing that, what is everybody else doing?
Taking my position on the barricade.
Okay.
Not doing an action that requires rolling.
Yeah.
I'm trying to look
For
up
God's sake.
my special ability because I forgot to write it down.
Well,
there you go.
go ahead, Shank.
Can I inspect the ceiling? I've got an idea.
Yeah. What are you after in terms of the ceiling? Tell me a little about your thought process.
If I can blast a hole through it, maybe we can climb up.
How high is the ceiling?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm thinking. Let's say it's about 9 feet up, so about 3 meters. So, little smaller than usual. Because I think regulation is, yeah. Let me see. I tell you what, if you give me Because it's a point of glory, I believe, or is it 2 glory to make a narrative declaration? Whatever the
You said it
spend
was 2
is.
glory.
Okay, so if you give me 2 glory, what I will say is that the ceiling is actually just that sort of white tile you would see in an old like military building, where it's not like a popcorn ceiling, but it's like tiled where you can just push up and the tile would sit on brackets, so you can push the tile up and slide it out to get up to the real ceiling.
Would we want to spend the glory though?
The issue I have with blowing a hole in the ceiling is I'm sure there's stuff on the floor above us as well. That would probably just start falling through that hole.
Yeah, and like how else? We would also have to figure out a way up there, and I'm fine with just killing the servitors.
I don't think Brother Hot says. I don't think we have the ammunition to take down all of these servitor.
Right, but what I'm saying is, not if there's this many on this floor, there's probably about this many on that floor as well.
Given the nature of this response, I believe that they are most of the servitors on this floor are coming here because of what we did. I do not believe that if we went to another floor, there would be an alarm response such as this. And
If we
there
blew
was,
a
they'd be coming
hole
here.
in the ceiling / floor, I'm fairly sure that would start an alarm.
I don't think servitors would notice.
It's up to y'all.
Well, it's just an option, just in case you guys want to run upstairs.
As these guys are debating blowing a hole in the ceiling, I would like to use my ganger ability to see if I was able to stow away a grenade at some point.
It's good use of your ability.
Our ganger has a power sword. He can just cut through the ceiling. That
I
way
don't
we
have a
don't have to
power
do
sword.
it.
Brother Harad
Brother
has the
Harad
power.
does.
Brother Harad
He's
has a
got-
power sword. Okay.
I ain't got no
Sorry.
fancy stuff.
Somebody has a power sword.
Now, what
And
are
you
the
can
rules?
just use the power sword to slice through the ceiling.
Right. Now, what are the rules on your ganger ability? Do you actually have to roll something?
Yes, so it's once per session. I may make an influence or cunning test to acquire an item representing something you have prepared in advance.
Yeah.
And I would opt for cunning, because I am much better at that.
Go for it.
And it's frag grenade, which is only a 2. Well, I don't know if you add in the value still.
So
for the
I
rarity.
will say, with that many successes, not only do you get a point of glory, I would say that you actually could shift all of those 6s, and I will give you not 1, not 2, but I will give you 3 total grenades.
I accept.
Are we calling them frags, cracks, half and half, or what do you?
I was saying frags.
Frags?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, where he was hiding those 3 frags, I leave to your imagination.
Prison pocket.
This is why the guardsmen don't have any of their grenades.
I like it. I like it.
So it's your fault that I don't have a canteen anymore.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, that's still your fault.
I found these in the bar.
All right. Well, you got 3 frags. What are you going to do with them?
So how far? Because these guys are still discussing in the background about what they're doing. How far away are this? Because I'm assuming we can still see out this door, right?
Yes.
How far
And-
away are they? And are they all like bunched up or?
So they are, if I can steal from Star Wars, you know the Imperial March theme where they're all like moving in formation? They are 3 by 10. I think that should be 30. Yeah, so they're 3 by 10, and they are just sort of marching in formation as servitors can.
Oh my god. And what is the hallway like outside? I'm assuming it's a hallway.
It is a hallway. The hallway that led into this room, fairly open, fairly spacious. You probably could fit about 6 servitors side by side, so they only fill up about half the space. But in terms of things in the hallway, I mean, there's a few benches, there's a few chairs, there's even a potted plant. I don't know why there's
And I'm assuming it's all made out of rockcrete or whatever equivalent is.
Yeah, so, it's fairly sturdy.
Okay. I mean, we could keep tossing grenades in there. That'd probably take care of quite a few of them, although that's not necessarily going to solve our current predicament.
Brother Herod feels much better about our ammo situation with those grenades.
Honestly, for taking out the servitors, since they're grouped up, I could probably wipe them out with my shotgun.
How would it work? Would it be feasible to like hook these grenades like in a cluster? So instead of throwing them individually, I could like
Pineapple.
pineapple grenade it. And
That
would
sounds
it do
feasible.
anything?
I could do a tech test on it.
I'll do you one better. If you use the point of, or no, not the point of glory. I would say that if you give me a point of wrath, you found duct tape, is what you found, Torvia, during your investigation. You found duct tape, which is all you need to make a pineapple.
I have duct tape.
They were using it as a tourniquet.
Do we want to give him more ruin, though?
I mean,
we're gonna keep rolling complications. So this point,
he's got 2 still, so I don't think he's short on it.
I mean,
Okay, sure.
Well,
I've got duct tape.
All right, let me see if I can quickly find grenade rules because I want to do pineapple fair here.
I've got the stats for the frags up. I don't know because they're blast medium, 10 damage with 4 extra dice.
the quick reference tells us you attack a square DN3.
Right, that's
However,
to throw it. Here it is, page 186.
So you mean to make the pineapple?
The pineapple would probably be a large blast area instead of a medium. That's my assumption. It would just
right.
Increase
That's
the
what I'm
explosion
looking
rate.
here.
DN4 at worst, probably easier to make it than that because it's just duct tape and grenade. Maybe a 2. You.
Okay, here's
Is it a 3
here's what I was
because we're in a
looking
hurry?
up.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I would say is that this would, if you tape them all together, this would be a radius 5. So if we were, let me actually plot a D&D asset here. If I know that correctly, then let's see.
The diameter will be 10, and if they're in a 3x10 row, if you throw it right in the middle, it should kill all of them. That sounds perfect.
Let's
At
see.
least hit all of them.
We mathed it. Yeah, well, absolutely. Sorry, correct. It will hit all of them.
All right, so I'm going to blow this up so you can see the size of it. But basically, if we're using this as an example, I think that's right. So you would be doing an explosion about that big.
So
Don't let the sister throw it.
It would be enough to destroy all of the servitors, basically.
A large chunk of them, yes.
As long as we don't let the sister throw it.
Yeah, at this point, man.
Drops it at our feet.
So you want me to take that tech test? Why can't I say that?
You keep wanting to say check.
Yeah. The DN on that's gonna be a 2.
We're all
I hold out the
having
grenades.
We're all having moments today.
Glad I'm not the only one.
Because my check
Thinking as
test-
little as
we're all
possible.
we're all just acting.
Ah,
Like,
look, there's the ruin.
More ruin? Really?
So you had to spend it, give him a ruin to make the test, and now you're giving him another for succeeding.
Hey, but you can shift.
Can shift quite a number.
I think you only shift the one.
I can only
This is
shift the one because I
six.
only got one 6.
Ah,
we
I
can-
see it now. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to shift that so that we get more. Well, can I shift it to cancel out the negative that I got from the wrath die?
I don't think so.
What else can you do
No,
with the shifting?
Damn it.
but I
you can make
know
it
it-
You can
done
increase
quicker.
the quality.
Yeah,
I'm going to increase the quality on this terrible thing that I just messed up, okay?
that's a good point. Maybe
You get a
it's
very
not.
large blast.
You just you grab some extra bits and add shrapnel to it.
That's what you do, is you just wrap the duct tape around it and you go, nah, it's not good enough. And you look around and you see the remnants of the servo arm and you just run over, perform some percussive maintenance to get some bits and bobs, slap those onto the grenade, add more duct tape, and now you have what is essentially a spiky exploding death ball.
There is one other thing that I'm going to have to do, though.
Okay, nitroglycerin death ball thing. Yeah, I love
There's
it.
one other thing that I need to do because it needs a guidance system so that it actually lands where it's supposed to go. So I'm going to put my pocket commissar and tape her to it so that she can guide it.
Not Sheila.
As I'm watching him do all this, I'm like, you know how to
Dr.
make the Underhive
Strangelove.
special too?
Get some Dr. Strangelove vibes.
Madam Commodore Commissar, please guide this to where it needs to be.
All right, so now the important question: who's throwing it?
Not me.
Brother
1, 2, 3, not it.
I do it. I have the faith.
I don't know. Brother Harad was first. You're gonna have to.
Oh yeah, Harad. Yeah.
Hunt it.
I've already goofed enough. Harad hasn't done enough.
On one arm. It's not a big deal for him.
I'm going to come up here and gently hand it to him.
It's like, a standard issue of Stardy's frag grenade.
Right. I was picturing like in your. I'm not sure you would say it was like primitive. You know, like you're like this is not as
but effective.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm going to aim.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna try and get it right in the dead center of them.
Would somebody like to poke a hole
that should be
in the glass before you throw it through?
Past the door.
There's no glass between us, right? Like the door's open, right?
Yeah, the doors are open right now. And
Oh,
yeah, I'm
the doors are
looking up.
open.
I imagine the doors would be stuck open with the amount of the
Okay.
barricade stuff. Like, you know, it's like a Kmart or whatever. Like you're too close to the door all the time. Like that's kind of what's going on. Yeah.
Ding, ding.
8 squares.
And-
Combat.
We can assume that Brother Harad is also good enough to know to not throw it with a very large explosion that we are also in the blast radius.
Or maybe
Right.
his plan is to just throw it through the glass.
I mean, unless obviously it deviates and like then it deviates. But
Wait
like
a second. I think I get extra bonuses for aiming.
You do get the one bonus side for aiming, unless you mean in a Stardy's
I
thing.
think Primaris specifically get extra bonuses for aiming.
I have another question. Is this counting as a horde since he's throwing it?
Not
A mob. That's what I'm debating right now. I think I know how I want to resolve this, but let's not put the cart
always
in front
be
of the
more
horse.
servitors. So just give it. Yeah, like that's fine. They say we killed all of them, and then we hear the march coming up again. You're like, oh my god!
And then
You
60
know?
servitors
Like,
show up.
Yeah, like it works. It works great. Like
No, you don't understand. They're not actually servitors. They're Russian nesting servitors.
Oh god.
Yeah. All right. Now that's heresy.
Yeah, that's some heresy right there.
That's a new idea for an enemy.
Here we go. I randomly went to the right page. Perfect.
What's the name of the Russian planet? The Russian Guard?
Vostroyan.
God.
Vostroyan.
Yeah.
Nope. Nope, just
Vostroyan.
one
Yeah.
dice. Okay.
Vostroyan nesting doll.
All I can think of are orcs doing that now.
I mean, that probably is a tactic they. Oh dear.
Is there more wrath?
I mean, I have full wrath.
Reroll.
He only needed a 3. He was aiming at a point.
Yeah, it's a
This is true.
DN3.
Okay, so if you.
So you do hit where you're targeting.
Yes, that's true. All right, so you
What's the
lob the
complication
grenade
there?
through a hole, and it lands where you want it to, and it rolls in between the mass of servitors. Nothing happens. It just sits there.
Damn it.
But right as you start to, maybe look at one another and think, why is this where we have to die? The grenade goes off.
Brother
grenade
Hod
goes off.
turns around to Torg and says, "Did you set the primer?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I wanted a delayed fuse.
The pineapple goes off, and I'm going to say, go ahead and roll me. And we're going to do this non-standard because mob rules are weird and I never get them right. So we're going to do it this way. Go ahead and roll me a 1d10 and add 20 to it.
Jesus.
All right, you take out 22 of the 30 servitors.
And the rest of them are then going to be like some injured in some way, right?
Correct, yes. They are
cool.
probably within one shottable range.
Then could we maybe do like a glory or something like this to kind of like abstract, or could I like burn an ammo to just kind of mow them all down?
I tell you what, that's a fair trade. You give me an ammo, and you can mow them all down.
Yeah, I'll burn a reload here to just kill all 8.
All right. So Krantz, as soon as the grenade starts to settle and you can see through the smoke, you just pop off 8 shots and the servitors all go down, clearing your escape.
And Brother Rod clears that barricade in just the same way he put it together.
Let's not dally. You know, as I immediately like kick away some of the barricade and like reload the bolter.
So your ranger buddy, as you know, she's even helping you wrench equipment out of the way. She's like, so where we go? We're leaving, right?
We can't.
Downstairs.
We don't know what we haven't got what we came for.
We're heading to the basement levels.
Oh dear. Isha, protect me. Isha, protect me.
You're mispronouncing emperor.
She just sort of looks at you like...
She hates you.
There's this... Okay, cool.
Brother,
I want to do something.
Yeah.
If it's cool. All right, at this moment. Cool. So I do that kind of like look back at the group because I'm like, I'm more pissed than you kind of seen me before at this point after like my gun broke. And really that was kind of like me relieving stress, right? Of just unloading and being like, we're definitely like, I would say something to the effect of, like, no, we're going into the basement. We're cutting the heart out of this thing as like I go. And I want to use that as sort of like my faith talent for the first time spending it. And it's righteous wrath. Giving and I think I have to roll for it, or maybe I don't. I just expend the faith. But it's like technically a combat action, but I just want to kind of use it as a free action here to just kind of go and give myself 1 wrath and an ally of my choice 1 wrath, which would probably be the corporal who spent their wrath.
Okay.
If that's cool with you, if it's cool with everybody.
No, I'm completely okay with that.
Because like that's the part where you're like, oh shit, like I am a sister and I'm pissed off now. I've been hurt like the first time, and like what was the word again? It was something about now like retribution's my shield.
Fury is your shield.
Retribution is my shield.
We're going to the heart of this because fury is my shield and vengeance will be mine. You know, like kind of thing. And you're like, yeah, the Emperor protects is like the last thing as I continue like to stroll down the hallway, and you're like, yeah.
And Brother Rod echoes, the Emperor protects.
Yeah, gives you fills you with inspiration.
Oh, the Emperor!
So my important question, I'm going to put us on theater of the mind for this one, because I should have had a hotel lobby map, but I couldn't find one that I liked. So
it looks like the Matrix, like the bank vault thing, right? The bank scene. Like that's, you know what I mean?
Before
like just the pillars.
Or after.
Yeah, both. Right. But like to me, that's kind of what I'm picturing, right? Like very sparse, very ambient light, very like sterile, I guess.
Sterile would be a good word, yeah.
And a campfire for a desk.
So, as you all traipse down the hallway which you came from, past the broken bodies of the servitors, it's starting to feel a bit cooler in here, almost as if the atmosphere is chilling. But you do arrive back at the front desk, and Brother Herod, remember how I said, or how you said you chopped off the servitor's head before? Servitors back in one piece at the front desk.
We can ask you more questions.
Is the cogitator still there? Or
no, the cogitator is gone.
Okay.
As in, not even the slag remains, but the cogitator is gone.
Okay, well, Brother Rod will not stop at just cutting the head off this time.
Okay,
We'll
how many
hack it to
pieces?
Until it stops making noises.
Okay. Roll me 1 attack because combat complications are funny.
Yes, they are.
They've been happening a lot, and I apologize for that.
Don't apologize. This is glorious.
Maybe for you, they could be more wrathious than glorious.
All right, you're fine. So you turn it into Swiss cheese again, and as you do, remember how I said the sign said, "I'm watching you" for a moment? All of the signs, and everybody will notice as you're looking up at the direction signs, they all shift to not "I'm watching you," but they shift to "You are in my home, leave."
No, we're going to have to kick its ass. It's tainted.
This is the Emperor's domain, not yours.
And the signs go back to normal.
To the downstairs?
Let's tear the heart out of this creature. This
To the
thing.
downstairs.
All right. So my question is, are you taking the elevator?
Yeah,
or
we
the
shouldn't take the elevator.
stairs?
We should take the stairs because the elevator, it seems
We
like
should
it's
take
got
the
a bit of
stairs.
control.
Yeah, I wouldn't trust the elevator.
Yeah, Brother Harad will take the rear again.
Okay.
Between Corporal Shank and Alaris.
Okay. So you begin. How far do you want to go down? Do you want to go all the way down 20 floors? Do you want to go just down 3, 5, 7? How far do you want to go down?
Well, what do the signs say as we go down? I'm assuming it's got labels for what each floor is.
Yeah, so maybe the first one is the morgue. The second one is research and development. The third one is, did you know that a cat's average temperature is the same as a human's before it's introduced to an oven? Like, you're starting to get SCP level, like, text the further you go down.
Do we want to take a stop in R&D? See, because it seems like this might be a focal point of something.
I don't believe any of the information we'll gather here would be any useful. It seems that whatever phenomena is here has control over the cogitators and the servitors.
Fair.
I think we should go down to the isolation wards.
So 18, 19, and 20, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you can destroy.
And
So
as we continue down, I'm going to unshoulder Alaris' gun and hand it back to her and say, I'm going to trust you for now.
The trust will be mutual.
And I did this far away from sister for a reason.
I'm gonna
Probably
turn
out
to
of
the
sight.
I'm gonna turn to the Eldar and go, "Don't break my trust. I know why you wear a spirit stone around your neck."
She sort of narrows her eyes at that one, like, how do you know, kind of a thing, but she doesn't press it for any further details.
Brother Harad also narrows his eyes under his hood. Like, how do you know?
But 18, 19, or 20, which floor are you guys stopping at?
18?
18 sounds good to me.
Okay. So, you, of course, go down 18 flights of stairs. It's, standard sort of, you go down one, there's a landing, you go down one, another landing, and it just sort of snakes around in that spiral fashion. And your boots or your feet, whatever you're wearing, sort of clanks against the metal plastic nature of the stairs. And when you arrive at the 18th floor underground, so B18, what you're seeing is that there is no actual door between you and the rest of the floor, meaning that if there was a door here, it's either just absent or has been ripped clean free. And the reason for that is actually rather apparent. As you sort of look around the precipice of the doorway, what you see is that floors 18, 19, and 20 have sort of merged together to form a large open area, about 100 meters across, and then maybe about 60 to either side of you to that wall. So it's a rectangular sort of 120 by 100 room. And what you're seeing is at the floor, so the actual floor of the space is 2 stories below you, and that is filled to the brim with frozen. And they're all crowded around, arms stretched up towards a ball of light that floats eye level with you all, that's in the center of the space. And in the middle of this ball of light, the ball of light is probably about the size of a cargo container, like a sea container. So it's a big ball. In the middle of this ball of light, I should probably not say light, in this ball of psychic energy, you see a meditating human that is sort of in that standard, legs crossed, arms out to either side, eyes closed, meditating posture. and they're just sort of
Lotus.
floating in the middle of the psychic energy.
Brother Rod will turn to Alaris and say, "Time to make good on those boasts on your skill."
And she, takes a look around you and says, "Don't know that I mean, I can certainly try, don't get me wrong, but that's pure psychic energy. We're going to need something like your sword to get through that."
Let us handle the psychic shield. We'll figure something out. You take the shot when it's time.
I will do so.
I am choosing to trust you.
And I you.
So
I'm just looking around like, I don't have that big of a gun.
So, we're coming up on like an overlook, and it's basically just a 60-foot drop, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Is there like a walkway all around, or is it like just we're on a landing and the stairs down?
We'll say it this way. So there is a small landing on the other side of the doorway, maybe about a meter to maybe 2 meters of space. And then there's stairs down about, say, 10 feet. And then, yes, there's a walkway that goes the perimeter of the space.
Does it look like are there stairs that are intermittently go from the floor to that walkway, or is it just?
It is just the walkway. It seems the only way to get down is to continue down the staircase you're currently in.
But he's floating at about our level, right?
Correct.
Towards the back or in the middle of the room?
Towards the center of the room. So I guess if it's 100 meters to the other wall, he's only
about 50
50 from
meters away.
you.
Is there any machine? Do we see any machinery hooked to him? Like, does it look like he might be getting amplified by something?
Because none of you are, to my knowledge, none of you are psychers. So
The Eldar is.
This is true. The Eldar is a psyker. Roll for her. Let's see what she knows.
More than humans would.
Let's see. Her pool is this many dice. 2, 3. That's 4 successes. So she will point out every so often in the ceiling, there are what are essentially psychic lightning rods that are sort of taking the bolts of energy that are sort of lightning and shockingly and sparking off of this ball of energy and seem to be collecting it in some manner. And as she points it out, she says, "I think that explains how this place is being powered. I'm not going to call them a friend. Your whatever it is powering this place."
You can say enemy. This heretic. How many of the lightning rods are there?
I would say there's probably on the neighborhood of about 20.
But they don't seem to be actually. They would be more absorbing his energy than providing it to him. So
Correct.
destroying those isn't really going to do much. We don't have any psych. Well, she's a psyker, so she could maybe overload it so that one of them exploded. But I don't know if she'd be strong enough to do that.
I think I am forming a plan here. The only way for those creatures underneath to get to our position once we get out on that walkway is to go up the stairs, which would leave our sniper very vulnerable. They would need an escort if that were to happen. However, that would mean that we could probably head out onto this walkway relatively unmolested and unnoticed until we start opening fire.
No, I'm fairly sure he's noticed us by now.
He said he was sitting there with his eyes closed? Or floating
He
there
is
with
sitting
his eyes
there with
closed?
his eyes closed.
He knows what he is.
He's a psyker.
Yeah, maybe, but if he hasn't done anything, I'm going to assume he doesn't notice.
Well, if memory serves me correctly, those things have to come up on the stairway, so we only have to fight them one at a time. It's a bottleneck.
Yes.
I could handle that by myself, probably.
I was thinking the same thing. That shotgun of yours will come in mighty handy there. And the rest of us, I believe if we did manage to destroy enough of those lightning rods, as Alaris said they were, we might be able to prevent this thing from offloading enough energy where it might overload.
Overload what?
Its own psychic potential.
Yeah. I'm going to nod and pretend like I know what you're talking about.
Oh, just looking at it, it looks more along the lines of
Shoot it.
those,
Got it.
those bolts coming off are excess energy that's just being shed. It doesn't look like it's actually on purpose that he's launching the lightning to them, does it?
Definitely more the former, yes.
So it's not energy. He's not using those to focus. It's just
Exactly.
it's bleeding off.
Exactly. It is bleeding off in an uncontrolled way.
Right.
This creature has so much energy that it cannot contain it and it must be siphoned away. So if it can no longer siphon away, then it will just
it's
build
going
up.
to keep shooting off. It's just not going to be sucked to the light. It's like trying to control where the lightning strikes by getting rid of the lightning rod. It's not going to overcharge the cloud. It's just going to make it so the lightning strike becomes random instead of we know where it's going.
I understand your analogy, but I see it much more like a battery that keeps getting charged with no outlet. Eventually, it will overcharge and explode.
If you want to try that, I'll stand over here with the shotgun aimed down the stairs.
What do you think?
Whatever kills it fastest.
I don't have any more grenades.
Another thing as to the it starts getting too much power built up. It's going to unleash that power a different way.
Yeah, I am aware. But do you have a different plan?
We need to do something to him directly. We need
Laura
to
just sort of shows you her rifle. Just get rid of that shield. I'll handle it.
Does Alara know anything about what kind of shield what we can do? Like distracting him is probably we need to shake his concentration enough to get that shield gone, but I don't know what would actually distract him that
She
much.
points at Krantz's bolter. It's probably a good distraction right there.
We could overload the shield. If we fan out along this ovular area, if we get to the middles, we'd be closer, since it's the distance between these walls are shorter than from where you are to the end.
All right, I'll stay here. Y'all head halfway across, so it's only 30 instead of 50, and I guess start unloading.
Mm-hmm.
Corporal, you come with me. Jack, I'd like you to accompany the sister.
Okay, but before you do that, GM, could you just read the PMs for a sec?
Yeah, I had a lot there. Let me look up what that does, because that could change very quickly. Let me look. That is on page. At least I think it's on this page. If you know what page it's on, type it to me in chat. Okay, that's where it is. I went past it. Okay. Okay, interesting. Yes, if you want to use that, you can.
Okay,
But
I will.
I will say that you have to describe what it is you're doing for the rest of the party.
Well, if they notice, I'm gonna go up to Alara and go, just be ready. And I'm gonna outstretch my hands towards the Psyker and try and disrupt his energy shield.
All right, go ahead and roll your test. Wow. Wow. Because I don't even, yeah, because the DN is 2 plus the power you're trying to deny. So, yeah, I think what happens is you reach out and impress your psychic potential, almost like a counter current or a short circuit. And immediately, the bubble around this man just shatters, almost like planes of glass, just shatters around him. And as psychic energies begin to erupt around him, Alara's going to take her shot. So, Alara, very important role for her here. Would you guys like to give her extra dice, maybe?
Critical success. There, I said it.
Sure.
It's gonna happen.
Helping a Xeno. This
Uh,
economy.
Well, what I would
mean,
say
Jacta will.
is... What I would say is that you could spend glory to give her additional dice, is what I would say.
I'm down for that.
I'm cool with giving her up to 2 glory.
Okay. We'll say
Oh,
that she gets 2 extra.
I'd also like to take a shot once it goes down.
Sure. Let's roll, see what she gets. She gets a 5, more than sufficient. Brother Harad, if you want to roll yours.
Right. I'm gonna say that that's at long
I
range
mean,
for a bolt pistol.
That's probably worth spending a glory to reroll.
For Alara?
Yeah, if we want
That's
to.
a lot of
And
misses.
this isn't. Yeah, and this
so-
is an important role.
All
So,
right.
like, and this is her chance to kind of like prove to us how good she is.
This
So,
is
like,
true. You
it
know what?
does
She'll
kind of
reroll.
make sense
Well,
that
this is the attack roll,
committing
not
the effort.
damage. So
Yeah,
it's
this is the
either
attack roll.
binary hits or
Yeah,
doesn't.
but
So if it
Well,
hits,
she's
oh, that's
still hit.
true. Is it? I don't know if it's more efficient, but like whatever, she would do the thing that makes herself have the best odds, right? And,
I'll
like, get
spend
the
one
most
ruin.
success to prove it.
I'll do my ruin to re-roll because she technically is an NPC. So let's re-roll. Okay, so she gets quite a number of successes. She now has 10 successes, and she can shift 3 of those. So she's doing a lot of damage here.
what's the dice penalty for
But
long
she can only
range?
shift. Oh, there's 3.
Long
Plus
range
four.
is plus 2 to
Plus-
the DN
Plus 4.
for long range.
Yeah, for outside of long range. Which
Oh,
I have a
it's-
bolt pistol. 15
Oh, you're
meters
using
is outside of long range for a bolt pistol.
30. Oh, that's right. Y'all didn't actually go across the room, did you?
No, we didn't leave. We're still on the landing.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I'll
3
I'll
is-
burn my last wrath to reroll that.
9 is more than sufficient. So, mostly for giggles, I'll roll damage here. So she has 14 damage.
Damahe.
Well, how many did she push?
That's with her push. I added her
Okay.
3 extra. So, what happens is, so Shank puts out his hands, closes his eyes, ball shatters, psychic energy goes flying everywhere. Alara levels her rifle, takes a careful aim shot, and puts one right through the temple, like almost through the ears, from ear to ear, a shot right through the psyker's head. And to follow that up, Brother Harad, you take careful aim with yours.
Nope, snapshot. Didn't aim.
Didn't aim. All
It
right,
went
so you
down
just come
I
up.
was Brother Hud was talking. The shield went down, and superhuman reflexes kicked in. The pistol came up, and a fire.
All right, so you come up and fire center mass and blow a hole with your bolt pistol clean through his torso. And the combination of being hit both in the head and in the torso is enough that whoever this was, the psyker, the witch just begins to fall through the air and tumble down to the frozen below. And the frozen sort of collapse in on themselves like an undulating mob and begin to try and eat and otherwise consume the corpse of the witch. At the same time, you all hear and feel that the state of the sanitarium is rapidly decaying. Like the foundations are shaking, the lights are flickering, everything about the sanatorium is collapsing now that it has nothing to power itself.
Yeah, it's a load bearing boss. Let's get the hell out of here.
I'm already running.
So, mostly because I find it thematic, I would like everybody to please roll me. Let's call this an agility.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like this would be a great time for like a skill challenge like thing.
Yeah, so let me say this. Let me say this instead. If you have athletics, do athletics, but if you have a better agility, then do agility.
Yeah.
Okay, so a 4, a 3.
I'm spending a glory. That's what the what? I will.
Okay.
So I spent the glory for the reroll for there because that's
wrath, not glory.
Wrath reroll.
Oh, that's
glory adds dice.
Yes.
But you gave yourself wrath before, so
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well.
And we get a glory.
Yeah, with all 4 of you rolling above a 4. No, Shank had a 3. So what happens is
so Brother Herald was actually going to pick up Corporal Shank because being part of the Astartes, he understands that mortal psychers tend to get wiped from their use of abilities. And so his plan was to maybe a little roughly grab Corporal Shank, assuming he was going to like fall over or pass out or something.
I would say he's definitely, like, if you're in the rear, Brother Harad, like, Shank is starting to slow compared to the others. So maybe in that moment of, no, we don't have time for this, you literally just scoop him up with a hand and carry him. Almost like a rabbit, just kind of by the scuff of the neck. Or, like, you've literally got a hold of his uniform, so you're just holding him like that. Either way, with that many successes, you all manage to get up to the front desk where waiting for you is the servitor again. And as you run out the front entrance, the servitor shouts, "Thank you. Have a pleasant day." And then as you get outside, not a moment too soon, the hospital or the sanitarium literally begins to collapse in on itself until it collapses into a pile of rubble, steel beams, and plasteel.
Well, that was fun.
Oh, yeah.
Brother Harad will throw Shank into a snowdrift and stand over him.
I'm going to just retch on the floor and throw up.
There is now yellow and green snow.
We have a psyker on our team that we weren't aware of.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't think there's a maybe involved here.
Well, I'm going to take my bearings because I'm exhausted. I'm just panting, I'm like, oh, God.
When were you going to tell us?
I'd look up and go, I wasn't planning to.
The only reason you're alive right now is because you saved all of our lives.
Well, I don't think you can kill me.
Are you sanctioned?
I didn't think I'd have to do this right now. I'm going to reach into my armor and pull out a big eye and go, by the order of the Holy Inquisition, you can't kill me.
And you go ahead.
No. Like, that's the good thing, because my gun's coming to you, as well. And that's the point, yeah.
Because I think that's actually a good way to bookmark this session, is you pulling out the rosette and going, haha, no.
Yeah, like you can't kill me. It's like, oh, I'm not sure about that. Let's see. Yeah, and then you're like, oh,
I understand what you mean now.
Mm-hmm.
so good.
But yeah, what did you guys think? I know that was a little loosey goosey with the maps today, but did you guys like it? Did you have fun?
What? Loosey goosey?
Yeah.
That was freaking awesome. I like that. Honestly, that was so good. I would probably point people to be like, hey, do you want to play Wrath and Glory? Like, this is what it looks like. Here's a 2-hour like session, encapsulated, spooky story, a lot of cool lore stuff. It felt like this is a pretty classic Wrath and Glory game, despite our roles and giving you so much
sort of
complication.
feels like
This felt
like
what the system's supposed to do.
yeah, it sort of feels like we're playing out a 40K novel at this point, which is really cool. It's exactly the kind of thing that I think everyone who wants to roleplay in the 41st millennium wants to do.
Yeah,
Except for
absolutely.
people who like the lethality of Dark Heresy or Only War. They probably just want to die a lot.
Yeah, they're different. We don't talk about that group.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, it's good to hear that everybody had fun. So we're going to talk a little bit more off stream, but this is where I will end the stream. So Twitch, YouTube, thank you so much for tuning in. We will see these lovely folks next week. Bye, stream.
Dream.